Last week, victim rights advocates scored a huge victory. It always seemed that a sexual assault victim was doomed for two injustices: the attack and then the indignity of being let down by the criminal justice system. Well, this time, victim advocates triumphed in a manner never seen before. Welcome to PA Voter Information Network. This is Larry DeMarco, your host. Welcome Delaware County, Pennsylvania, United States, and everywhere. I recently reviewed the data that YouTube gives me to see who watches my channel, and I learned that most viewers haven't subscribed. If you watch but haven't subscribed, how about right now? Click the red button and that bell right beside it, and you'll be emailed new videos. Last week, a California judge, Aaron Persky, was removed from the bench in a recall vote for sentencing a Stanford student to just 6 months for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman. The recall stemmed from the case of Brock Turner, who sexually assaulted a woman near a dumpster outside a frat party in 2015 after she blacked out from drinking. In March of 2016, the jury found Mr. Turner, then 20, guilty on all 3 felony charges against him. At the sentencing hearing, they heard from the victim, who described in excruciating detail how the incident robbed her of her worth, privacy, confidence, and voice. The offender, this privileged Stanford University freshman swimmer at the time, argued that the victim consented. He never took responsibility throughout the trial, right up to the sentencing. The judge gave a fraction of the minimum sentence under the statutory guidelines, 6 months of the 6 years requested by the prosecution, which incidentally was what the probation department recommended. The judge stated he believed the defendant, even though the jury didn't. The victim gave a harrowing account of her suffering in a 7,200-word victim impact statement, which was published by the national press, and the lenient sentence caused public outrage. Even though the defendant, Brock Turner, is required to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life, he ended up only serving 3 months of the sentence. Despite the outrage from the sentencing, the recall was controversial and drew some criticism. Ironically, the source of the criticism was from criminal justice reform activists who believe that the recall will harm the cause to reduce the high imprisonment rates in the United States, particularly against minorities. Also, legal scholars fear that such a recall threatens judicial independence and judges will bend to public opinion rather than use their best judgment over fear of losing their jobs. No matter which side you take, one thing is clear. Sexual assault victims showed enormous power with this recall process by removing one of the most powerful elected officials, a sitting judge. This is in stark contrast to the powerlessness typically felt by women victims of sex crimes, as illustrated by the motion picture The Accused and Law & Order SVU. For example, in The Accused, a 1988 old movie, Jodie Foster's character was gang raped in a bar, and the circumstances contained some common red flags for prosecuting a case, at least what was thought, as the Stanford student. Emotional behavior by the victim or blowing off steam of some sort, heavy alcohol consumption by both parties, mutual kissing and therefore potential for consent, and a case difficult to prosecute.
You haven't got more important things to do than go to trial with a sure loser?
Reckless endangerment.
The title, The Accused, refers to how the victim is put on trial more so than the defendant. The woman is actually accused, and society blames the victim rather than blaming the person committing the assault. Jodie Foster's character felt betrayed by a weak plea deal.
Me out, but I hope it's worth it.
The Stanford victim also felt like the accused at her trial and also felt betrayed by the judge at the sentencing. The media seized upon the facts of this case of the Stanford case because of the lenient sentence, an unremorseful and unrepentant defendant, and the horrible, harrowing account of her victim impact statement. These factors caused her story to go viral, and a Stanford professor petitioned for recall got 1.3 million supporters. Notwithstanding this pushback against the recall, it was reported that almost 60% of voters supported the recall and voted the judge out of office. A rape survivor's power to remove a sitting judge for giving a lenient sentence is in stark contrast to the powerlessness previously felt before this case by sexual assault survivors. Not to say that there isn't more work to be done. Apparently, there's hundreds of thousands of rape kits in this country untested, according to SVU star Mariska Hargitay. But where victims of sex crime have been feeling so helpless and powerless to fight a criminal justice system stacked so heavily against them, where they're treated like accused themselves, the Stanford sexual assault case is a story of inspiration and hope I never saw before, and it deserved all of our attention and a celebration. Michele Dauber, a Stanford professor and friend of the victims, led the recall. After the judge was removed, she explained that the women of her county had enough, and she explained the significance of what happened.
Sexual violence and violence against women is a voting issue.
Whether there's a provision for a recall in your state or not, there's not in PA. Judges across the country now know that this sentencing issue can follow them to the election booth. The victim herself spoke to other victims of sexual assault in both her victim impact statement and in a statement given after the recall.
When people doubt you or dismiss you, we are with you. We fought every day for you, so never stop fighting. We believe you. As the author Annie Lamott once wrote, lighthouses don't go running all over an island looking for boats to save. They just stand there shining. And although we can't save every boat, we hope that by winning this election today, you absorbed a small amount of light, a small knowing that you can't be silenced, a small satisfaction that justice was served, a small assurance that you and we are getting somewhere, and a big, big knowing that you are important. Unquestionably. You are untouchable, you are beautiful, you are to be valued, respected, undeniably, every minute of every day. You are powerful, and nobody can take that away from you. To girls everywhere, this campaign is with you.
The Stanford sexual assault case is not only a lesson on sexual violence, women's rights, and the Me Too movement, it's a lesson on democracy. The power to organize, communicate a worthwhile cause, mobilize, and vote is the power to bring social change and cure ills of society. Money in government is only one source of power. As you sit by your computer, your keyboard, and connect with friends and neighbors, don't ignore the enormous power at your fingertips to communicate in large groups and vote at every election. Let's leave it there. Let me hear what you think. Give me your feedback in the comments below. But for now, I'm signing off. Tune in next time. Bye for now.